Yeah. But that being said, let's jump into the lore of the Institute. The Institute is an advanced scientific organization based in the Commonwealth. It is known and feared for its ability to produce advanced synthetic humans, also known as synths, of high enough quality to pass as true humans. The secretive nature of the Institute has turned them into somewhat of a boogeyman figure on the surface, and its presence is a major cause of paranoia for the people of the Commonwealth. Now, I get all of my lore from Fallout.fandom.com. The Institute was built upon what was once known as the Commonwealth Institute of Technology, or CIT, while the college itself laid in the ruins of more than 2 centuries at the time of the Great War. Those present took refuge underground. The Institute was formally founded by the children of the original survivors who dug into the earth and built increasingly sophisticated residential facilities and laboratories, starting an ongoing process of infrastructure expansion. Question for you, my friend.
Yes.
Do you think male and female synths can produce synth baby, or are they infertile, or are they eunuchs?
They are built machines, basically built for a purpose, and I don't think that they're not people enough to make babies.
You don't think they have like little robo sperm and egg?
No.
Okay.
Based on how I see them made, it'd be like if one of the robots from Westworld tried to make a baby. It doesn't really work.
Okay, so here's my thing. These people have been down here.
That's how I think.
These people have been down here for 200 years. That gene pool's getting stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, they probably had a lot of different, like, genetic diversity saved there from, because it was like a sciencey type place. Mm-hmm. They probably went and got that ready with that intent, like, in mind for staying there for a while.
How many years of...
So I can write that off.
How many years of breeding of, let's say, an evenly diverse group of people, so 25% black, 25% white, 25% Asian, and 25% other, right? How many years of breeding till we just get to the same shade of beige? Like, how many generations do you think that takes? Because
until we get to genetic singularity.
No, I don't mean everybody's got blonde hair, blue eyes, but I'm saying, like, as the world continues to get bigger and bigger, you keep hearing, oh, at some point in time in the future, everyone is going to be some sort of shade of beige. Like, the melanin in your skin pigmentation will be not high. It'll be like closer to the same, and not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like a white nationalist. I'm genuinely asking, like, how many generations before these traits kind of all blend together? And I'm not saying that certain traits wouldn't be more apparent than others. I'm just saying how many generations until it's kind of like, okay, everybody is a homogeneous shade of caramel.
I'm trying to find that out.
Because I'm thinking if let's say every 20 years is a new generation, right? No? I'm thinking, like, let's say the average person has a baby at 20. I'm going to get on with this lore. Let me finish this paragraph, and then if you find something, let me know, okay?
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of fixating.
You're cool. Isolated from the outside world, the scientists continued their work, disregarding the mayhem and destruction occurring outside of its grounds. As they worked on creating synths, they attempted to work peacefully with the people of the Commonwealth, using first-generation synths, as well as help create a new stabilized government. But mutual mistrust and infighting ended that relationship quickly, and they returned to isolation. Eventually, the scientists have utterly put ubiquitous pre-war technology to shame, to the point where they believe that Wastelanders would be unlikely to understand the sheer scope of the Institute's achievement, such as the creation of a molecular relay, a teleporter, in the 2180s, which resulted in the Institute sealing itself off from the surface permanently, and the development of synths. For decades, the first and second generation synths were the most visible part of the Institute's operations, scavenging for materials and performing experiments on the wasteland. The scientists, sealed away in their utopian society, did not concern themselves with the plight of the surface or the effect their actions had on said surface. However, the Institute eventually reached its limits of synth technology that underpinned their society. Although powerful, the second generation synth was inherently limited. Mechanical platform. To overcome the limitations of metal synthetic materials, the Institute endeavored to create synthetic flesh, which was the first research initiative beginning in 2178. Under the auspicious Dr. Frederick, couldn't give him a last name, or Fredericks? I don't know anybody with the last name Frederick.
Yeah, neither do I.
FEV samples served as the starting point for the new organic synthetic program, despite the objections of the same members of bioscience. Both men and women were abducted from the Commonwealth and submerged to the Institute's modified FEV. Their mutations carefully tracked and extensively investigated. Successful mutations would be monitored to ensure survivability, then tagged and discarded. Research ground to a halt in March of 2224, as the research team concluded that the organic synth project could not proceed despite perfecting 2 FEV strains for the project. Radiation-induced heredity damage proved too much of an obstacle, which I think is super underrated that nobody talks about. My favorite way that radiation was ever described to me was it doesn't just kill you, it kills your family's generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
The solution...
It microwaves your DNA.
Yeah, pretty much. I wonder, I want to see what mutated DNA looks like under a microscope. Not that I would understand it, but if, I would be like, oh, that's neat, it looks different or something.
Yeah.
The solution came in 2227 with the acquisition of Sean by Kellogg and his undamaged pre-war genetic code. The Organic Synth Project was spun off of the FEV Research Initiative, and his DNA became the bias of the third generation synths. The infant Sean became father to a whole generation of engineered synthetic beings. In 2229, a defective synth caused the Broken Mask incident, which I actually don't know about. Let's learn a little bit about it together, shall we, class?
Yeah.
The Broken Mask, I do know, was a sudden outburst of violence perpetrated by Diamond City visitor Mr. Carter against individuals around the Market Bar in 2229. So I do know about this in passing. It's pretty much like the start of we don't like no synth.
Right, yeah.
I feel like the synths could have had a lot more to say about,
their existence, yeah.
No, it could have been an allegory for, how race doesn't matter and the thing that divides us is class. You know what I mean? It could have really been,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think that could have been better.
The FEV research effort continued for several more decades despite producing no useful data, except for manufacturing more super mutants for the surface to contend with. When Brian Virgil succeeded Doc Silverson as head of the project in April of 2286, it became evident that FEV experimentation ran its course and served no useful purpose. With the availability of third-gen synths, the Institute experiments with forced evolutionary virus, or FEV, ended when Dr. Virgil went rogue and fled into the Commonwealth. But even with the Organic Synth Project complete, the Institute did not rest on its laurels. What is a laurel?
It's a flower.
Okay. Work continued in other fields. Its sophistication increased with every day. Of course, with the increase comes the increase of appetite for energy, the Institute is constantly facing shortages in its power budget, in no small part due to the fact that the molecular dematerializer, the only way in and out of the facility, requires immense amount of powers for each use. Moreover, don't like that word, despite the luster of the Institute facilities, a lot of the crucial facilities, particularly the reactor, are pre-war tech, and despite continued maintenance requires an increasing amount of resources to keep running after 2 centuries of expansion. The technology still holds up, as it was built to last. To overcome at least one problem, the ultimate goal of the Institute is energy independence, which they believe can be achieved by restarting the ancient nuclear reactor once used by CIT to perform experiments and providing the Institute with near limitless power. The design has been revised in the reactor itself, extensively upgraded and improved, turning it from a testing reactor into a proper source of electricity. Activating it would free the Institute from the need to compromise and sacrifice, and especially drawing power from the above-ground installations. The Institute allows humans to live in a clean and safe, comfortable environment, free from the strife and the environmental hazards presented on the surface. Over the decades of isolation and development, the Institute has developed a very effective system that maximizes The Institute has developed a very effective system that maximizes efficiency and promotes individual development and research. The leadership over the Institute is in the hands of the Directorate, made up of individual heads of each division and one specifically appointed director. The division of the Institute...
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then.
The divisions of the Institute are fairly autonomous, perfectly capable of functioning without the intervention. So I believe that's saying they can exist on their own without the council. Why don't you use the word council?
Yeah.
Where those divisions interact, however, can cause problems, such as the director appointed to set policy, resolve disputes, and otherwise act as an intermediary. Okay.
And so the director's the boss that stops problems.
Yes, and there's four different houses.
Brobnar. Divisions.
Yeah, there's 4 different divisions of the Institute. They will be on screen. The logos of robotics being red. SRB. I don't know what SRB is. Why don't you tell me where SRB is? Why did you abbreviate when I'm trying to learn what something is?
It's the Synth Retention Bureau.
Okay, but
FBI.
put Synth Retention Bureau.
Yeah.
Like, I get that I'm supposed to have a somewhat knowledge, but this is the wiki. Like, I'm here to learn, homie. Robotics is red, Synth Retention Bureau is white, Bioscience is green, and Advanced Systems is blue. And they're both shown by something that represents what they would be. Mm-hmm. Each director heads a division that is instrumental to the Institute's continued existence. Yet, despite the pressing need to cooperate, knowledge is heavily compartmentalized and the divisions are kept in the dark. Inconvenient facts are routinely buried under false pretenses, especially when it comes to high-profile members fleeing the organization like Dr. Brian Virgil. Due to the fact that the Institute exists in isolation from sunlight, there is an artificial time cycle implemented to simulate a day and night cycle. Quiet time for resting runs from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I love A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That just reminds me of that, how like everything underground is dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Advanced Systems is headed by Dr. Madison. You want to read this one? I know you got a special spot in your heart for Lee.
Headed by Dr. Madison Lee, the Advanced Systems Division works on applied physics, plasma weaponry, and teleportation, as well as special projects currently classified. They are also responsible for the advanced weapons and armor that the Synths and Institute members wear on their trips to the surface. They run the robotics lab, which produces new synths, and their primary focus is the implementation of Phase 3, a massive fusion reactor that would completely solve the Institute's power consumption problems.
I'm sorry, you weren't finished.
No, I was.
I'm surprised we haven't done an episode on Lee yet.
I thought we did early on.
Did we?
I thought so.
We should upload that older lore.
Yeah, we should.
Bioscience, headed by Clayton Holdren. That's an all-American name if I've ever heard one. Jesus
That's
Christ.
almost like a Texas name.
Yeah.
Partner. Texas Hold'em.
Headed by Clayton
Holdren.
The Bioscience Division specializes in fields of studies such as botany, genetics, and medicine.
It's important shit.
Yeah. They are all... Botany? Is botany... No, that would be agriculture, right? For growing of...
Botany is like plant genetics and stuff.
Yes,
and
but... Like,
plant physiology.
do I go to this man if I need me a head of lettuce or some cabbage,
No.
a carrot, a potato?
No, that would
Okay.
be the kitchen facility.
No, I'm saying he does this because botany, does he grow the food?
If you wanted to make a genetically pure cabbage, then you can go to him.
He's the Hitler of vegetables. No, nothing.
Clayton Holdren, everybody.
If we were gonna name this episode Baby Frank's third birthday, I'd want to name it the Hitler of vegetables. So Clayton Holdren, the Hitler of vegetables, is the bioscience division specialist in the fields such as botany, genetics, and medicine. They are also responsible for all biotech advancements, including crop production. Oh, okay, so just, I need to shut the fuck up and read. Pharmaceuticals and genetic engineering. Oh, dude, Hitler! They also hold samples of the Force evolutionary virus, which was responsible for creating super mutants. Rumor has it that they're working on a way to reverse engineer the virus to create a cure. The most important directive to ensure health and the well-being of everyone in the institute. Why is
In the institute.
there? I love how the sentences on this wiki are written like they're going to continue, and then they just put a period. Let's read that one again. Rumor has it they're working on a way to reverse engineer the virus to create a cure. The most important directive is to ensure the health and well-being to anyone in the institute. To that end, they cultivate highly specialized breeds of flora to use in food and medicine, providing the majority of the institute's food. They've even started to explore the idea of synthetic animal life, which is the fucking coolest part down there.
That's the coolest part with
It's-
the gorilla boys.
Do you remember who started calling Lucio the coolest?
No, I just got it from you.
Okay. Because I was having a conversation while playing Overwatch the other day.
Because he's the coolest.
He's the coolest. Did I tell you Papa sent me a Lucio Funko Pop?
Wait, there's the coolest Funko Pop?
Yeah, of Lucio.
What is he in his like default outfit with like the ponytail?
He's in like the default outfit and he's got his little blaster thing and he's like, yeah, riding on walls.
Oh, cool.
Sorry. Currently experimenting with replicating gorillas. The synthetic animal initiative is just a pet project, but the potential is considered exciting. If they're like, imagine being able to eat like synthetic cows. Like you could have
Damn.
real ass beef again. This is like,
Well, real fake ass beef.
yeah, like all jokes aside, this is what is going on right now with plant-based meat, more or less. Mm-hmm. Like, I heard something that like the average pound of beef in America is like $4 and something cents. And like the average pound of plant-based meat is like $14 right now.
That's a lot. That's not what I pay.
No, I mean, I go to Costco and I can get like the plant meat
I get Impossible for $8.99. I think
for, is it patties or is it like chop meat?
it's a pound of meat that is
Malleable?
ground.
Okay.
Yes,
So I think at
but
Costco.
I make it into patties.
Yeah, of course, dude. Why wouldn't you? I think at Costco right now it's like 2 pounds for like $16, which really isn't that bad.
That's like a lot.
I don't think that's that bad at all. 8
Actually,
pounds?
that's not bad. Yeah,
You know,
that's
I
not
mean,
bad.
what do you like?
$8 a pound isn't that bad.
Yeah,
For synthetic.
dude, I bought like 6 pounds of chicken for $24.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I love Costco. All right, facilities. Although, all
Do I
of
need to get facilities?
do you want to?
Sure.
Dude, do it. I believe in you.
A thoroughly underrepresented branch of the Institute, the Facilities Division, under Allie Fillmore, is responsible for keeping the Institute in operation on a day-to-day basis. It performs daily tasks like servicing the life support systems, ventilation, and power network. All the old technology that forms the foundation of the Institute's efforts requires constant maintenance to prevent blackouts, which can have a lethal consequence for the sequestered society. In a nutshell, they keep the Institute's mechanical and electrical systems running smoothly. They maintain and upgrade all of the systems that make it possible to live and work in a place like the Institute's underground habitat. Crucial apparatus that recycles the air and water and provides power to the laboratories and quarters. That's just not written right.
No.
The work they do might not be as exciting as the other departments, but it's still important. They have a large number of first-generation synths used to maintain these facilities, and they are simple but effective tools for keeping the Institute alive. Members of the division include the aforementioned Allie Fillmore, division head, or chief engineer as some call her, Dr. Lawrence Higgs, a mechanical engineer overseeing the major life support security systems, Dr. Evan Watson in power distribution, and Dr. Newton Oberly, responsible for food and housing. He liaisons with the bioscience to ensure that meals are balanced for optimal nutrition.
Every time I see the word liaison, all I can think of is How to Catch a Predator. Chris Hansen going, so you just came here to have a sexual liaison with a 15-year-old. Like, I can't not hear that.
See, when I think of liaison, I think of like a country's diplomat.
Okay. Synth Retention Bureau, headed by Justin Ayo. Ayo? Headed by Justin Ayo.
But you forgot robotics.
It's the Synth Retention Bureau.
No, really, you forgot robotics.
Oh shit, my bad. Robotics is a branch. Wow, holy shit. I've had a weird day. Robotics is a branch of the institute responsible for the manufacturing of the synths. Currently focused on mass production and the induction of third-generation synths. It is also responsible for proceeding upgrades that ensure synths remain functional at an optimal capacity. Currently, the division is implementing existing upgrades. Unlike the other divisions, it does not have a specific division head. Now we go to Synth Retention Bureau. Thank you for catching me on that one.
Yeah.
Headed by Justin Ayo, the Synth Retention Bureau was designed to perform one task. It tracks down and retrieves rogue synths. Again,
which they have an entire department for tracking down escaped slaves.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the Harriet Tubman of the Institute?
Desdemona.
But she wasn't a synth to begin with.
I guess she wasn't?
I don't think she is.
I thought she was.
No, she's human.
Huh.
Yeah, she's a human.
Human?
Always liked her hair. I know that sounds dumb, but I did.
Yeah, my hair's kind of like hers. Not right now, but...
So, to do this, the Institute created a specific synth model called the Courser. Coursers have their personality levels tweaked to ensure they won't rebel. While the combat abilities have been vastly improved over other models, other divisions within the Institute fear the Synth Retention Bureau, as they have a hit squad of Coursers under their command, and they are very effective in this role.
They're like the Boston Dynamics police dogs of Fallout.
What do you mean?
You know Boston Dynamics? They make the robots that know how to do things.
Yes.
And they made police dogs for the NYPD.
Yeah. Because that's needed.
Like the robots.
That's needed. That's where my tax dollars are going, not education.
Well, it's private sector, but it is a public contract. But
well, if I'm paying tax and they get my tax money, they're buying it from there, no?
Yeah, probably.
So, let's teach the kids let's not teach the kids how to fucking,
So basically they made police dogs to track down these bitches.
Don't call them bitches. Give these hoes some respect. Did I ever tell you that joke? That's like a really old joke.
Sorry, with a director named Ayo, I thought I was able to have a little more leisure.
The Synth Retention Bureau also hunts down the railroad members so they can shut down the rebel organization once and for all. The Retention Bureau also employs a murder or flock of watchers, synthetic crows with built-in monitoring devices. Synths are the primary labor force inside of the Institute, but they are more advanced. Their processing becomes more invaluable that the synths will attain consciousness and attempt escape. As third-generation synths are indistinguishable from normal biological humans, the Synth Retention Bureau specializes in the capture of runaways. The primary instrument of the SRB is the Courser, and the third-generation synths assigned to operate on the surface. Coursers hunt down and reclaim synths and that have escaped from the Institute. They are highly self-sufficient, trained in combat infiltration and tracking. In a word, they're ruthless. Coursers are selected from the general third-generation synth pop. Due to the variability of the manufacturing process, the SRB constantly monitors the third-generation population, looking for tenacity, fearlessness, and independence. They want them to be more human, but not human. Synths selected to undergo a rigorous training program. Synths selected to go under. That is written like it is going to lead into a comma, but it doesn't. Fine.
Synths are these
selected
these go-getter synths are selected to be cops.
This yes, of course. Fuck 12. But this is written out as synths selected to undergo a rigorous training regimen.
Yeah, this page on the
that
wiki
needs to have
somewhere.
why is the Fallout wiki written like this?
You have to decode it.
Oh my god. How did it feel when you read that to not have dyslexia? When you've read so far?
It makes it hard because your brain fills in the gaps when you're reading it alone. But when you read it out loud, you sound like a dipshit.
Oh my no, dude! I read this out loud, and that's why I kind of like why I read lore, because it makes me confront my dyslexia, if that makes any sense. Because I hated reading out loud ever. And I think that's why, I did everything where I had to present in school, improv, because I knew I didn't have to read. And I can't fuck up if I don't have to read because I can't, you know what I mean?
No one can tell you that you're improving wrong.
Exactly. So, sorry, that was a tangent. They are taught armed and unarmed combat, the coursers. Investigative techniques, psychological and mechanical skills. Those who pass a final evaluation become coursers and re-register as X-synths. For example, X688. The rest have their memories wiped and are returned to their former duties. Synths are usually recovered by using a recall code to wipe their memories and render it inert. Once returned to the Institute, the delicate process of restoring the neural pathways to their original configuration begins. In those cases where the procedure is successful, the synth returns to duty with no memory of its time on the surface. All too often, the Synth Retention Bureau staff is unable to repair the damage and is forced to dispose of the unit entirely.
By murder.
Oh, well, we couldn't get it. It has this tick now. I brought my car into the shop. It's doing that thing. It goes for like a second after it's running. And that's like, oh, just buy a new car. That's essentially what they're doing.
Basically, yeah.
Another priority of the SRB is surveillance, which, again, they do by having the crows and the other synths in certain areas. A little bit on their society. Despite the Institute's prowess, there are a limited amount of scientists at its disposal, with a small team working with each division and several auxiliary scientists elsewhere. As a result, the Institute requires relatively little housing space and has apartments to accommodate all scientists and their families. Scientists interact regularly and often spend time inside the cafeteria and the main chamber. Despite its secrecy, the Institute maintains a friendly and welcoming demeanor to those introduced into its ranks, allows access to almost every area inside the facility to newcomers. There appear to be no strict work hours for most scientists, as they often take many hours off and come and go as they please from meals. You know who else did that?
Who?
The Nazis. The Institute is very secretive of their projects occurring within its organization and seeks to keep as much information internally as possible. This leads to it limiting outside contact as much as possible without compromising the security of the facility. Of course, security is an exception, and the Institute's SRB operates a network of informants in the entire Commonwealth, monitoring developments to ensure they cannot threaten the Institute. Another exception is the scientific experiments. While it seeks to minimize direct contact, the Institute has no reservations about using the surface for its experiments, and as such, a source of readily available raw materials. All research initiatives are meticulously documented with academic precision, from hypothesis to the conclusion. For example, Warwick Homestead was targeted to test genetically modified seeds in its unique climate for the Commonwealth, in order to ascertain whether ambient radiation, soil acidity, and its fertility there could provide an accelerated growth rate, and a twofold increase in the size and thus yield. Although ostensibly harmless, the research initiative involved abducting Roger Warwick and processing him to gain intelligence, then using the Roger's replica to oversee the experiment, collect research data, and eventually eliminate all evidence of the research initiative on the surface. The Institute's activities on the surface go beyond archaeological. The Institute's activities on the surface
Agriculture.
go beyond agricultural research. Past projects also involved other bioengineered experiments, including diseases and FEV-induced mutations. Abductions remain a routine element of these research activities. Finally, anyone who holds anything of value to the Institute, especially technology and research data, are vulnerable. University Point was an example of this, when Jacqueline Spencer uncovered pre-war research on reactor efficiency and tried to find a buyer via a caravan. The Institute picked up the trail, and a synth representative demanded that the town hand it over. When the settlement failed to comply due to the chaos that broke out, and Spencer being separated from the drive by her well-intentioned father, the Retention Bureau wiped the entire town out. The Institute also attempts to procure data from rival factions like the Brotherhood whenever it can, in order to maintain the technological advantage.
Sounds about right.
Anything you'd like to say so far?
Why weren't they there when I was doing the Automaton DLC?
I think you know why. While the Institute
I don't know.
is primarily a scientific group, it has a powerful
Why
army
weren't they
at
there,
its
Bethesda?
disposal.
If they want technology so bad, why weren't they there?
Yeah. Maybe you could make the argument that it was older technology.
Fair.
While the Institute is primarily a scientific group, it has a powerful army at its disposal, synths. Inside the main HQ of the Institute, the robotics division can provide a large number of synthetic organisms, which can be very efficient foot soldiers with enhanced strength and resilience. This, coupled with the advanced technology at their disposal, makes the Institute's synths a serious threat to anyone who dare oppose them. Generation 1 and 2 serve as the backbone of forces, equipped with variants of the Institute's laser guns, shock batons, and synth armor. This goes into the coursers a little more. about how they're kind of they're like go-to guys and how they utilize stealth boys.
Mm-hmm.
They maintain an information network to assist them in strategy. The Synth Retention Bureau maintains a fleet of watchers, synth crows, and internal cameras. The SRB scientists monitor live feeds from locations all over the Commonwealth. The SRB also inserts synth agents into positions of importance, such as the mayor of Diamond City, Mayor McDonough, and maintains a network of paid informants such as merchants and bartenders. Yes, the Institute has a large advantage, having emerged out of the ashes of one of the most advanced centers of research and development in the world. Most of its achievements are still deeply rooted in the CIT. For example, its security system architecture is derived from the CIT Code Defender, a revolutionary intrusion countermeasure system developed before the Great War. Terminals running the original version of the system still remain in the Institute's inventory, despite advances made by the Synth Retention Bureau. Are you recording?
Yes.
Another impressive achievement of the Institute is the development of the teleportation technology. The only other faction known to possess similar tech is the Think Tank and the Zetan aliens. I wouldn't consider the Zetans or Zatans to be a faction, but sure. Unlike the Think Tank, however, the Institute is able to teleport multiple individuals in rapid succession. They do not need any sort of transportation, such as vertibirds or cars or what have you.
Because they can literally just teleport. They're just that good.
Yeah. In the past, the Institute has also dabbled in cybernetics and artificial say that for me, please? Prolongation.
The next line is amalgamation.
Thank you. Of human lifespan. Its only test subject was Conrad Kellogg, as the program was abandoned and forgotten. Father terminated this project. Hold on. Kellogg was the only one they ever did it to. They terminated the program because Father believed that the Institute was about preserving humanity, not some bizarre amalgamation of biology and technology.
They weren't trying to do augmentation. They were trying to literally evolve as a species.
Yeah. They were trying to... they're the Hitlers of... Inside these are just some notes. Inside of the robotics section, it appears the synths are being constantly created. In fact, it is the same synth with the same ref ID being created over and over again. Okay.
But it looks like a new synth is happening like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like...
After becoming...
It pulls people out.
Sorry?
Do you remember that? How it like goes like...
Yeah,
and pulls a person out and then like paints it with skin and then dips it back in.
I remember there was a video of like showing that entire process. That it was just...
It's really cool.
Yeah. After becoming the director, various members of the Institute will remark on how the player character should approve new policies, make some reform, and reconsider other priorities. However, none of these are available in the game, and are best suggested at what the player character will be doing in the future. Fast traveling to and from the Institute, anywhere on the map with only 2 minutes passing in-game time by going to the Institute before one's actual destination. That's really cool. So instead of me traveling...
If you go to CIT, it doesn't change time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Teleportation works differently in survival mode. The player character can fast travel out of the Institute, but only to the CIT ruins. However, they can teleport to the Institute no matter where they are. For every Institute member killed by the player character in the Institute, 2 synth guards will spawn in the relay room. This can result in over 80 synth guards spawning in said room if the player character clears... Wow.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. The Institute, I want to read this just because I see House's obituary quick. The Institute makes a small appearance in Fallout 3 in the form of their 2 members during the Replicated Man, and the CIT is mentioned in New Vegas in Mr. House's obituary. In Fallout 4, the Institute makes a full appearance as one of the major factions in the game. It is also mentioned in Far Harbor and Nuka World.
Yeah.
The Institute's logo is based on Leonardo da Vinci's Venturian Man drawing and strongly resembles a synth during the production. And that's the Institute. That's the boogeyman
That's
of the
the
Commonwealth.
Institute, baby.
Anything you'd like to say, friend?
I feel like we read a whole lot of the same stuff. Like I really was looking for more from them.
I was looking for some depth.
Their narrative arc is really shallow.
Yeah, this game, they should have waited 2 years to put the game out.
I mean, I'd like to see if like modders could go in and give the Institute more depth. That'd be a cool project.
Yeah, did you see that, speaking of games that are going to take forever to come out, did you see that Elder Scrolls 6 is still in its idea phase?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, somebody from Bethesda said pretty much like, yeah, we're still kind of tossing around ideas. And that we probably will not be getting another Grand Theft Auto game till 2025.
It's like fine.
It makes me laugh. I have nothing
Games
to
take
really...
a long time to make.
No, they do, but GTA 5 came out in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take 11 years for you to make wheelie, steely, automobile. Come on. I love Grand Theft Auto, but come on. I actually saw someone comment, if it's going to take that long for me to get the game, I better be able to get those strippers pregnant.
At that point, you might as well just go out and steal a car.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Any final thoughts on these guys? I have nothing other than go check out the gorillas.
My final thoughts are: don't actually steal a car. We don't want you to do that. And also, wish you could have been able to be a robot. Just like I wish you could have been able to be a ghoul.
Yeah. Well, I doubt that'll happen for a while, to be honest, as much as that's like my number one thing. So
other than that, I'm good.
This
We've got
episode's
a long one today.
Yeah, this one's been going a little long.